Broncos country, if you have been carrying around that bitter, sour taste in your mouth since that heartbreaking 1-0-7 loss to the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship, I have some news for you that is about to wash it clean away. The Denver Broncos did not walk into their first preseason game looking rusty. They did not walk in looking rattled by how last season ended. They walked in looking angry. They walked in looking like a team with something to prove. In Broncos country, they proved it in a way that should have every single fan base in the AFC nervously checking the schedule to see when they play Denver this year. Before I break down everything that happened, I need to ask you for something because it genuinely matters. If you love getting the freshest Broncos news, the freshest Broncos talk delivered to you every single day, hit that like button, hit subscribe, hit follow, and share this with every Broncos fan you know. This channel runs on this community, and every single share puts this content in front of one more fan who needs it. Now let's get into what actually happened on that field, because there is a lot to unpack. From the opening drive on offense to the very first snap on defense, this team set a tone. This wasn't a sleepy, going through the motions preseason opener. This was a statement. This was a team that came out with pace, with depth, with backup quarterbacks slinging the ball around like they had something to lose, and the result was nothing short of a dominant performance from top to bottom. Let's start under center, because Jarrett Stidham needed a game like this more than almost anybody else on the roster. There has been real, tangible pressure surrounding Stidham all offseason, with plenty of chatter about whether he even survives final roster cuts, whether he gets traded, whether he gets released outright. Well, Friday night, Stidham showed up and looked every bit the part of a legitimate NFL backup quarterback. A quick, efficient game, exactly what this offense needed from him. And it wasn't just Stidham. Sam Ehlinger didn't have a bad outing either, giving this coaching staff real tangible depth at the position heading into final cuts. But if we're talking about who stole the show offensively, we have to talk about Courtland Sutton. 3 catches for 60 yards might not jump off the page as a gaudy stat line, but 2 of those catches were absolutely spectacular, and one of them might genuinely be the best catch of his entire Denver Broncos career, a one-handed grab that had the entire stadium buzzing. This is a receiver who has quietly been one of the most reliable weapons on this roster for years, and he just reminded everybody exactly why. And then there's the run game. Broncos country, and specifically, there's a name you need to burn into your memory right now, Jaleel McLaughlin. This rookie is an absolute stud, plain and simple. He is going to push Jalen Dobbins and Devin Harvey hard for starting reps. And after watching him on tape, it's not difficult to understand why. This is a running back who does everything you could possibly ask for. He showed off a slick spin move that left defenders grasping at air. He does not lose yardage, ever. Even on his bad carries, he's falling forward for 3 or 4 yards instead of getting stood up in the backfield. That is exactly the kind of back you want closing out games in January. That is exactly the kind of back you want as your goal line option, your short yardage option, when the game is on the line and every inch matters. On top of all of that, he catches the ball beautifully out of the backfield. He is an outstanding pass protector, and he simply does not put the football on the ground. What more could you possibly want from a running back? This kid is going to be a problem for opposing defenses all season long. Now let's flip over to the defensive side of the football, because this is where things got genuinely electric. Jose Jewell and the defense delivered a jaw-dropping 90-plus yard interception return, the kind of explosive, game-changing play that gets an entire stadium on its feet. The pressure this defensive front generated against Atlanta's offensive line, including Jonathan Cooper looking absolutely overwhelmed at times, was relentless and consistent from start to finish. And right in the middle of all that chaos was a name that deserves way more national attention than he's currently getting: Reed Murdoch. This is not just a player making the roster, Broncos country. This is a player who is about to get major reps this season. He is an absolute tackling machine, finishing the game with 8 tackles while flying all over the field on nearly every single snap. And isn't that the entire job description of an outside linebacker? Be everywhere, make plays everywhere. But here's what really separates Murdoch right now. He is not just making plays, he is running the entire defense. When he's on the field, he's the one wearing the green dot, making the calls, setting the checks. For a 7th round pick to already be trusted with that kind of responsibility this early is nothing short of remarkable. This kid is going to be an absolute steal, And this kid is going to play major snaps this season, mark my words. And it wasn't just Murdoch making plays. The entire defensive front was relentlessly getting after every quarterback Atlanta rotated through the game. Those backup quarterbacks did not want anything to do with this Broncos defense, and that is exactly the kind of mentality this unit needs to carry all the way through the regular season. It's not fully there yet, but it is trending in exactly the right direction and fast. One more thing stood out to me from Friday night that deserves real attention: the sheer volume of snaps these players logged. Remember, this was without Jalen Weidermeyer, without Marvin Mims, without Baron Browning, without several other players who were banged up or held out as a precaution. And yet, after that opening scoring drive, I fully expected the starters to get pulled. Instead, they played the entire first quarter. Same story on the defensive side. That is not an accident. That is Sean Payton setting a tone, and setting it loudly. This coaching staff wanted this team playing meaningful snaps against real competition, and they got exactly what they were looking for. Now, I won't sugarcoat everything, because there was one genuinely tough piece of news to come out of Friday night. Lavelle Bailey, another middle linebacker on this roster, suffered an injury that is going to keep him out for the entirety of the season. That is a brutal loss, and it's fair to wonder whether the Broncos front office goes outside the organization to add reinforcements at that position. But here's the thing about a roster this deep: the next man up mentality isn't just a cliche in Denver right now. It's reality. The young guys are going to have to step up. Based on everything else we saw Friday night, I have every reason to believe they will. And here's a bold statement I'm going to stand behind. 1 through 53, the Denver Broncos have the best roster in the entire National Football League. I'm not backing off that. This roster is so deep that there are going to be genuinely good players who could start for other teams who don't even make it onto the 53-man roster. And here's the part that should really excite you, Broncos country. I don't think most of those cut players even make it to the practice squad. I think other teams are going to be scooping them up off waivers almost immediately, because that's how good this depth chart actually is. Now let's talk about the single most exciting development to come out of this entire preseason opener, and that is Davis Webb. Look, it's still Sean Payton's offense at the core. Payton is still going to be heavily involved in play calling, in game planning, in the overall offensive vision, and he should be, because he's still Sean Payton, one of the sharpest offensive minds this league has ever seen. But what Davis Webb is bringing to this offense as the new coordinator is a completely different flavor of excitement. This offense has a legitimate chance to finish as a top 10 unit in the entire NFL this season, and after watching what unfolded against Atlanta, that no longer feels like wishful thinking. You could feel a tempo shift on Friday night, players moving in and out of the huddle with real urgency, and there's a strong sense that this offense is building toward a genuinely up-tempo identity heading into the regular season. Maybe we don't see the full version of it in the preseason, but come week 1 in Kansas City, don't be surprised if this offense is playing at a completely different speed than what Broncos fans grew accustomed to last season. And beyond the scheme, there's something even more important brewing here. The players genuinely love playing for Davis Webb. They believe in him. And that belief is showing up on tape in the form of an aggressive, downfield attacking offense that isn't afraid to take shots. Just look at that gorgeous deep completion from Stidham to Sutton early in the game, a full home run swing right out of the gate. That aggressiveness is exactly what this offense needs, because Bo Nix is already so dangerous and accurate underneath. Adding a legitimate vertical element on top of that opens up the run game even further. And remember, this offense didn't even have Marvin Mims or Jalen Waddle on the field, the two best deep threats on the entire roster. When those two get folded back into the game plan, opposing defensive coordinators are going to have legitimate nightmares trying to figure out how to defend this unit. It's also worth remembering just how close the Broncos came to not having Davis Webb calling plays at all. He had real interest from the Las Vegas Raiders and was reportedly prepared to interview for a job there before pulling his name out of consideration entirely. Sean Payton made it unmistakably clear that Webb needed to stay in Denver, needed to be the one calling plays for this offense, and Webb chose to stay. That says everything about how much confidence this organization has in him and how much confidence he has in what they're building together. Now let's get to the news every single one of you has been waiting to hear. Bo Nix is coming back this Friday night at home against the Green Bay Packers. Bo Nix is expected to take the field in a live game for the first time since that devastating ankle injury, an injury that came right after he outplayed Josh Allen and beat the Buffalo Bills. We don't know exactly how many snaps he'll get. We don't know how many throws are on the plan for him, but he is expected to be in the huddle, under center, in front of the home crowd, and Broncos country. That is enormous news. We've already seen what this offense can do with Stidham and Ehlinger running the show. Imagine taking it to the next level with the actual face of this franchise back behind center. Because make no mistake, this is Bo Nix's team. Everybody in that locker room knows it. It might be close to a 51-49 split with Sean Payton, but every single player in that building understands who is leading this team forward, and the players believe in him completely. Getting him back onto the field, even for a handful of snaps, even just to get him hit once and get that game rhythm back into his legs, is a massive step forward heading into the regular season opener in Kansas City. And here's something worth sitting with for a moment. This is a motivated Bo Nix. 24 wins across his first 2 seasons in this league. 24, and somehow, unbelievably, he's still getting ranked outside the top 15 quarterbacks in this league by plenty of national voices, barely squeaking into the top 20 by some counts. Meanwhile, he now has arguably the best roster he's ever played with surrounding him, especially on the offensive side of the football. Keep doubting him if you want to. National media, because all he's going to do is keep proving you wrong. And honestly, watching that unfold is going to be one of the most satisfying storylines of this entire season. There's also a very real emotional layer to all of this. Every single one of us as fans felt cheated watching this team's championship run get derailed by that injury. If we felt that sting as fans, imagine what Bo Nix himself has been carrying around all offseason. That kind of motivation doesn't just disappear, it fuels a player, and it's going to fuel this entire offense heading into week 1. So Broncos country, here's where we stand. A dominant statement-making preseason opener in the books. Jaleel McLaughlin looking like a legitimate weapon at running back. Reed Murdoch already running the defense as a 7th-round rookie. Courtland Sutton reminding everybody why he's still WR1. Davis Webb building an aggressive downfield offense that has this team trending toward a top 10 unit. And now, this Friday night, Bo Nix steps back onto the field for the first time since that gut-wrenching injury, ready to lead this team back toward unfinished business. Before I let you go, I need one more thing from you. This channel exists because of this community, because of Broncos country showing up every single day. So if this breakdown got you fired up for Friday night, hit that like button right now, drop a comment down below, because I read every single one. And I get to them throughout the week, and if you have not subscribed yet, do it right now. Don't wait, don't scroll past it, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single update from this channel again. This is going to be a special season, Broncos country. We have a lot of unfinished business, and it starts with getting through these next 2 preseason games healthy, welcoming Bo Nix back onto the field, and marching straight into week 1 in Kansas City, ready to make a statement. Go Broncos, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 2,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now.